Thank you, everybody, and welcome to the first regular monthly meeting of the mayor and council being held in Borough Hall.
Here.
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 Thank you. If you're willing and able, could you please stand for the salute to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Proceed.
In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Law, Chapter 231, Public Laws of 1975, notice of this meeting was transmitted to the record and general news in the Miles Borough Code of December 21st, 2022, and is posted on the bulletin board of the borough.
I'm just going to give Bob a second to do the community. Hello? Good? Seeing that we have no presentations this evening, Brian, would you like to give the borough engineers?
The county's working through Union Avenue. They have 80-something ramps to do. 28 ramps are done as of today. No issues, and we're dealing with any complications on the site. And we are not incurring any charges to the borough for any additional work. And the inspection and the design is also paid by the county. And we submitted the reimbursement docs to the borough, so they can process that as well. And this sets up Million paving and Union Ave is on track for the spring of '23. So that will be revamped from the Passaic River through to the Erie, all the railroad tracks. The '23 grant application has been accepted. We get a notification that the award has been approved for $225,000 or so, and we'll back into a road project when the budgeting process is done. And then we'll hope to have that out to bid as soon as the budget is settled on the borough side. We'll be ready to go with the bid opening. Van Winkle Park, there was a subsidence in the middle of the park by West Deer Pond. And upon investigation, we figured out why there was a subsidence. There was a broken pipe. It was only a small section of pipe, and that was repaired today as contractors were working through the winter this year and not shutting down. With respect to the ongoing municipal project, we're doing the Manila and Harney Road. Concrete work is being done, and unfortunately, because one of the actual plants is closed for the winter for rebuild, North Asheville plant, we can't, even though the weather is nice, we can't pave, unfortunately. Cameron Field, pretty much the project is closed out. Our office is monitoring some reflective cracking that's coming through the basketball court, and then we will redo those cracks in the spring when the weather breaks. Trend Village Tunnel, or Fire Tunnel, that work is done. We submitted payment voucher number 2 for the contractor as requested, and it's for the borough to review and pay that out. And then NJDOT has confirmed that your extension that we did in November is in place, so the funds are available, and there was not a rescission of funds. And drainage work is done, and we're looking at one corner that we don't like the drainage pattern, and we may put another catch basin was we had a budget constraint of not repaving the basketball court, we're living with the surface that we have. Unlike the pickleball court, we had a budget to do 2 inches of new asphalt, that's why it's keeping. So we're gonna monitor it, the contractor's standing behind the product, so it's not an issue. They just have to come back in the spring, and they might have to hit it in the spring, and we'll see how it holds. And they may need to come back, one more time, but because we did not pay, we were hoping that we didn't get as much reflective cracking, but we're using basically, I think, a 20-year-old surface that we're trying to work with. And worst case, when the budget allows, we could put 2 inches of asphalt on the whole thing to rectify that, but we're trying to hold off on that right now.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the council? Seeing none, I only have a couple comments. Brian, can you have check the area of Ames Ave and Union regarding the ramp? And I have a complaint sent to me regarding the striping around it. So by the laundry.
Ames and Union?
Air Union.
Which one now?
Air Union.
Air Union,
In
okay.
front of the laundry.
In front of the library, okay.
Thank you. The other thing I have is that as we move forward, Bob and Maria, as the recreation liaison, will work on phase 2 of Camden Field.
Yep,
And we'll just, I want to keep moving on that.
yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
That's all we have for the engineer's report, I assume, if nobody else has any questions. Nope. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any changes to the agenda this evening?
No, I have none.
Anybody from council, any changes to the agenda? Seeing none? Ask for a motion. Excuse me? We're gonna do it. Yeah, I've been here for 3 years and still don't do it. Hearing any citizens? Anybody wishing to speak, please step up to the microphone, keep your comments to 5 minutes or less, and please state your name and address.
Hi, my name is Lois DiTomaso. I live at 180 Mountain Way in Rutherford. There's a lot of new faces here. But I've been here a couple of times before about the noise that we live with caused by the jets from Teterboro Airport flying over our homes on the arrival path to runway 6. So we've gotten a noise monitor installed. It was installed right after Thanksgiving. It's supposed to be for 3 months, but at the TANAC meeting on the 25th, TANAC, the new,
Yes, I believe so.
okay, it's a noise advisory committee for Teterboro. Anyway, they have a meeting on the 25th, and on the 25th, we're going to ask that they extend that noise monitoring because they spent 3 weeks at Christmas with a gift to us of not flying over our houses. They were using a different approach. So they don't really have an accurate noise measurement for the month because they're back now, but there was a period of time when they weren't. Thanks to you, Mayor, I connected with Paul Griffo. He suggested that we contact other elected representatives, state senators, the assembly people, the freeholders, et cetera. So I have written a letter to them, which I'm going to send it to everybody. I have a copy, but I'm not going to leave it with you because I haven't sent it yet, so it's not official. But what it does is ask that the elected people who have the power to do so speak to the FAA and encourage them to study whether they can do an offset approach to the Teterboro Runway 6 that follows Route 17 instead of flying over the residential areas of Rutherford, flying over Sylvan School. Those poor little kids are out there at recess. They can't hear anything because there's a jet going over their little heads at 400 feet up. So anyway, we're going to go from the governor on down and also ask the congressmen and the freeholders and the, commissioners and everybody else if they will endorse that and intervene to put pressure on the FAA. And the reason I'm here tonight, which is what Paul recommended, was to ask whether you, as the mayor and council, would endorse that request that they study the offset approach so that the jets won't be flying over our houses. So anyway, I will send you the letter. I don't want you to sign on to something you haven't seen. But I'm wondering if you would be willing to sign on to that. All it does is ask people, elected representatives like Cory Booker, to intervene with the FAA and ask them to study an offset approach up Route 17 instead of over Ridge Road and Mountain Way and Sylvan and all the streets in between, Orient Way. So that is why I'm here. That's my question, okay? And I'll send you a copy of the letter probably by the end of the week. Because it'll be mailed before the end of the week. I just want to make sure it's exactly right and I have all the right addresses. Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public wishing to speak? Come on, Mr. Zara, you know you want to get up. Mr. Racine from the Board of Education, welcome.
Thank you. Greg Racine, 83 Sylvan. I just see Detective Anderson is on the agenda tonight to retire. I just wanted to thank him for all his service as school resource officer. It's a great position. Oh, sorry. That better? All right. I saw that Detective Anderson is on the agenda tonight for his retirement. Just wanted to say he's been SRO for so long, and it's been a great position. He's a great man. I wish him well. We're going to miss him. And we welcome Detective Ingles. He's coming in. I just wanted to thank the Mayor, Council, and Chief Russo for working so well with the schools and having this position embedded in the schools. It's a wonderful thing. And thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll make our comments, later. Anybody else from the public?
Good evening, everybody. Adam Zora, 94 Freeland Avenue. Happy New Year to everybody. I'd like to begin tonight by actually complimenting past council decisions that actually appointed a medical doctor and several nurses to the Board of Health. And tonight I'd like to make two requests. The first is to ask the council to use its powers of persuasion to convince the members of the board to elect these very medical professionals to the positions of president, vice president, and secretary at their upcoming reorganization meeting. I'd also like to ask the council to use its statutory powers to return the Board of Health and the Health Department to their original missions. Excuse me. If you look at the 2023 budget that they've submitted, you'll see that there's a need to actually reaffirm the borough attorney's involvement as their legal counsel. It's been that way for years, and apparently, according to the way they're put in the budget, they're putting in for an attorney thinking that they don't have representation, which I'm sure is not true, but I don't know where it came from. And the other thing is that you also need to reassign several unnecessary and non-public health responsibilities from them to the borough departments. If you look back through at least the last 10 years of Board of Health minutes, you'll see that these departments, that their coverage that they're now having to provide has been the bane of the members of the council for at least that decade or more. And there's really no purpose to it because these are coverages that are done by either borough employees or by borough contractors. So the duplication doesn't make any sense. Now, if you make these changes, it'll eliminate wasteful duplication and actually improve the efficiency across the borough. It'll also allow the current health department staff to attend to its main duties. And it'll also help to reduce the Board of Health's proposed budget by 15%. Because we react without sacrificing any services to the residents of the borough. So it's a win-win for everybody. And I hope council will, and if you actually read through I guess it's the last page of their budget, As far as the statutory powers, they make mention of that on their last page, that you folks have that right. So to only approve necessary funding. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Zura. Anybody else from the public wishing to speak? Seeing none, I'm going to close to the public and now open it up for any council comments. Councilman.
Thank you, Mayor. Just two quick things. Mr. Tomaso, I will happily sign on to your proposal. I love, especially when there is a complaint in town and a proposition to solve it is brought forward. I myself suffered through the jet traffic when we first moved into town for several years, so I can relate. Mr. Racine, bravo. I was going to wait till later to speak on Al Anderson's retirement. As someone who's worked closely with him, we both have sons in the same grade, have coached together, have liaised together. He's an incredible man. It truly does take a village to raise a child, and he is such an integral part of this village. So I appreciate you speaking up on his behalf. And Al, if you're listening, congratulations on your retirement. We wish you the best of luck and hope you're not leaving anytime soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Anybody else? Councilwoman?
So first of all, I do want to thank you for coming to talk about the noise complaints. I know that a lot of residents have been really concerned with that, and I just want to thank you for your advocacy. I'm going to let the mayor speak in more detail about next steps since he is the liaison. And Greg, thank you for coming today, and I'm very excited to serve as Board of Ed liaison this year. So I look forward to working with you and your colleagues. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Council President?
Thank you, Mayor. I too want to thank you for bringing this conversation about the air traffic noise to us. It's been an ongoing conversation for quite some time. And the fact that it's finally being studied and we're having a more rich conversation, and I agree with the councilman that it is very solution focused. I really appreciate you immensely for presenting it that way, and we'll follow the lead, obviously, of the mayor as the liaison and for our next steps. Mr. Racine, it's so nice to see you. Happy New Year. The fact you were here for our meetings, and we've had Diane Jones in the past, the fact that we have members who attend each meeting just shows the commitment I think the mayor and council and the Board of Ed have to each other in response to building the best community and experience for our kids. So thank you for being here, for your kind words. Mr. Zora, I've never been asked to use my power of persuasion. So it's taken this many years to have someone actually come up here and ask me to conjure power of persuasion. I'm not really sure what to do with that, but thank you for asking me to think about that. I just want to reiterate what you and I have talked about over the years regarding this. We have great respect for the Board of Health for their autonomy, and we have worked very hard to make sure the appointments to that board are made up of residents that have expertise. And so I trust that they will continue to do the good work as they certainly did for this borough through COVID, and will continue to do in the future. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Anybody else? Councilwoman?
I know, it feels like a silly joke. As an attorney, I usually believe in efficiency and less is more when it comes to words, except when you're expressing gratitude for good work. So I just wanted to applaud you, Ms. DiTomaso, because as my colleagues have said, you took advice and you ran with it in a really, really productive way. I'm always reticent to sign on to something I didn't read, so I won't go as far as to say that. But nonetheless, I do think I am totally in favor of asking the FAA, who has far more access to information than we do, about what's possible, to advise us as to actually what's possible. So I look forward to learning about that, and I really do applaud you for taking what sounds like multiple steps to ensure that we could get that information and then make an educated decision. So thanks for that.
Thank you. Councilman?
I'll reserve my comments during my committee report. Thank you.
Okay. The only comments I have is, Mr. Zora, we have a new liaison to the Health Department. Really? Greg, you come and do that, really? Councilman Guzman is just deep diving into everything right now, and I know he's looking into the Health Department and their operations. So, Ms. DiTomaso, I'm with you all the way. You know that. I was on the call before you, the one where the other towns up in North Bergen asked to step in, and they were declined respectfully, as this is our problem, and more people that don't live here trying to get airplanes to stay away from their towns and push more over us is not the answer we're looking for. So I will speak to Mr. Griffo as well on your behalf to extend the time with the monitor. But again, just send a letter over and I will totally support you. Greg, as always, pleasure for you to be here. Well, when you're here. We do appreciate the updates and what you guys do for us, the borough. And Al Anderson is an amazing man, amazing friend, grew up with him. He will be missed. Hope, you know, and Frank Ingles is another great man, so I think that the chief's got everything stacked well for the Board of Ed and the schools, so thank you for your comments on that. And that's all I have right now. Council President?
Next, I'd like to move resolution number 24, authorizing the approval of the borough's conflict of interest policy. Motion.
Motion by Council President. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Roberson. Any questions or comments by the council?
Mayor, might I invite our borough administrator to speak to us?
Thank you, Council President. We are putting this policy forth today to, one, we are considering engaging in a program with the Civil Service Commission, an alternate route hiring program for law enforcement personnel. This policy is a requirement to be a participant in that program. But secondly, it's also a very good idea that we have this type of policy in place for all our borough employees and all our borough officials, including yourselves, in regards to hiring practices in terms of relationships with outside people, and in terms of what is permitted as a gratuity gift, which is very minimal. So it just kind of establishes what we will accept and hold in the criteria that you're being held to. The employees are subject to discipline in violation of it, and this will be added to our policy and procedures manual that has been adopted by the governing body over the last few years. That manual was prepared by our labor attorney who represented the Joint Insurance Fund at the time. So it's a very thorough, well thought out document. And the template that's before you today was developed by the Civil Service Commission. So it certainly meets the criteria that we're looking to accomplish. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from the council? Any comments? Questions? No? Seeing none? Missy?
Councilman Coakley?
Yes.
Councilwoman McGowan? Yes. Councilman Big Roberson?
Yes?
Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Delroy Cohen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Quattrone?
Yes.
Thank you. Council President?
Thank you, Mayor. Next is our consent motion agenda. All items authorized to be consent by the council will be enacted in one motion. Motion.
Motion by Council President. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Guzman. Any questions or comments by the council? Seeing none, may I have a roll call?
Councilman Coakley?
Yes.
Councilwoman McGowan?
Yes.
Councilman Big Roberson?
Yes?
Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Councilman Delroy Cohen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Quattrone?
Yes.
Thank you. We're going to move on from the council president. We'll move on to Councilwoman McGowan again.
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing this evening to move under finance. As we begin the new year, I just would like to extend my sincerest appreciation to our emergency services our police, fire, and especially ambulance corps, which I've been reappointed to serve as liaison again. We are incredibly fortunate to have the volunteers that we have in this borough. And for those residents who are unaware, our ambulance corps is unlike any other. The fact that everyone who serves on it is an EMT. They have the rank of EMT. They have the training of being an EMT. That is not something that you see. It is a rarity. And so I just want to thank the leadership of our Rutherford Ambulance Corps, their dedication, and as always, our continued support. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. We're going to move on now. Councilman Guzman, please.
Thank you, Mayor. First off, I'd like to ask council to accept retirement of Detective Alfred Anderson effective February 1st, 2023. Motion?
Motion by Councilman Guzman. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Council President. Any questions or comments by the council? Council President.
Although not said before, I just want to thank Al for his incredible service to this borough. I don't actually remember not knowing him. If you grew up here, he's just a presence and he's hard not to know. One of the kindest people I've met. He genuinely cares and cared for every child in these schools, but more importantly, everybody in this borough. Always has a kind word and a big hug. And I am happy that this day has come for him. I'm incredibly sad for the borough, but I wish him and his family all the joy that they so absolutely and rightly deserve. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Anyone else from the council?
Before I move on to the next, do you want to say something? Before we move on to the next, I too would like to extend my congratulations to Detective Anderson. He's definitely had a stellar record here, and just like my colleagues here, he's been just nothing but a wonderful joy. I've known him for many years, and we've been able to get on the softball diamonds for many years with him as well. His interaction with the kids was awesome. Nothing but stellar. I mean, the guy is, kids would flock to him automatically. He's just that happy, jolly guy that everybody respects. So we are definitely going to be missing him, and I wish him all the best in his next endeavors.
Thank you, Councilman.
Moving on to resolution number.
Missy, could you please read the roll?
Councilman Coakley?
Yes.
Councilwoman McGowan?
Yes.
Councilman Big Roberson?
Yes.
Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Delroy Cohn?
Yes.
Councilwoman Quattrone?
Yes.
Thank you.
Can I go now? Thank you. Moving on, I'd like to move resolution number 27, authorizing the employment contract for Captain Mark Amatucci.
Motion by Councilman Guzman. May I have a second? Second by Council President. Any questions or comments by the council? Seeing none, may I have a roll call?
Councilman Coakley?
Yes.
Councilwoman McGowan?
Yes.
Councilman Big Roberson?
Yes.
Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Delroy Cohn?
Yes.
Councilwoman Quattrone?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, I'd like to move resolution number 28, authorizing the employment contract for Captain Anthony Nunziato. Motion.
Motion by Councilman Guzman. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Council President. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, may I have a roll call?
Councilman Coakley?
Yes.
Councilwoman McGowan? Councilman Big Roberson?
Yes.
Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Delroy Cohn?
Yes.
Councilwoman Quattrone?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next up, I'd like to move resolution number 29, authorizing the employment contract for Deputy Chief Sean Farrell. Motion.
Motion by Councilman Guzman. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Coakley. Any questions or comments by the council? Seeing none, may I have a roll call?
Councilman Coakley?
Yes.
Councilwoman McGowan? Councilman Big Roberson?
Yes.
Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Delroy Cohn?
Yes.
Councilwoman Quattrone?
Yes.
Thank you very much. I'd like to congratulate our new captains and our new deputy chief. I know they'll do wonderful things for the borough, for the people of Rutherford. Congratulations to all of them. Before I move on, I have no further updates on my committees. However, I would like to address Ms. Tomaso, if I may. I look forward to reading your letter and receiving your letter. Thank you very much for all of the work you're doing. Appreciate it. Thank you. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. We're going to move on. Public Works, Councilwoman Delray Cohen.
I have nothing to report. Is this, but I'm going to ask a question. I know that's not, I don't know what the order is of that, but when do I give my liaison reports? Now? Oh, great. I have a liaison. This is my moment. This is my moment. Okay, great. Well, excellent. So first, I would like to congratulate the Green Team on a very successful styrofoam recycling effort on Saturday. Not only did I learn a lot about the amount of effort that goes into recycling styrofoam, I want to commend our residents because DPW filled an entire truck and had to empty it to fill another. And with that in mind, I'd like to also commend Liam from DPW, who is an absolute joy and so helpful, and actually is a bit of an environmentalist himself. So we were well matched with Liam. With that in mind, I'd like to add that the Green Team is having their repair fair this weekend on Saturday from, I believe, I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. Who? The repair guy? Well, I will not ask him to speak about it again. The Repair Cafe is on January 14th from 11:30 to 3:30 at the library. So please bring anything you have to fix, and hopefully you can reuse it and recycle it. And finally, I had the opportunity to talk for quite a while with Julia Siegel of the Green Team, and they have some really big, exciting plans for the town that I think is going to benefit all of us. So I'm pretty excited to be working with them. And that is it.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman. Fire, Councilman Coakley, please.
Thank you, sir. I do have a couple of things this evening, but I'll take care of the business first. I'd like to move forward resolution number 25, authorizing fire engines refurbished change order number 4 in the amount of $3,971.44. Motion?
Motion by Councilman Coakley. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Roberson. Any questions or comments by the council? Seeing none, I have a roll call.
Councilman Coakley?
Yes.
Councilwoman McGowan?
Yes.
Councilman Big Roberson?
Yes.
Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Delroy Cohen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Quattrone?
Yes.
Thank you all. Second, I would like to move forward resolution number 26, increasing the fire department uniform allowance. Motion?
Motion by Councilman Coakley. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Guzman. Any questions or comments by the council?
Real quick explanation. This is just a slight adjustment based on leaving off one particular member or position to be accounted for. So it's just a nominal addition to the annual salary ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else, sir? Motion?
Roll
I'm
call.
sorry. Can you read the roll? My bad.
Councilman Coakley?
Yes.
Councilwoman McGowan?
Yes.
Councilman Big Roberson?
Yes.
Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Councilman Delroy Cohen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Quattrone?
Yes.
Thank you all. Just two more things. First and foremost, I would like to thank the Borough Administrator and the Borough CFO for taking care of the men, women, and families that take care of us. Last year was very, very productive, and I'm very proud of what we were able to accomplish together. So kudos to two of those men for being instrumental in that. Second one, this one's a little bit long and may get emotional, but I feel like it's warranted. For those that were not aware, Saturday, January 7th, members of the Borough Council and I swore in the newest officers of the Rutherford Fire Department. This has been a great honor for me as the fire commissioner these last 2 years. One of the other great opportunities of this position is the privilege of speaking at the Fire Service's annual Chiefs Dinner, which honors the outgoing chief of the department. This year, regrettably, I will be unable to attend due to a conflict with my mother's 70th birthday event in Florida. That being said, I had neglected the opportunity on Saturday to speak to the privilege of working with Chief Tom Twist for the last year. And Tom, I know you don't like people reading speeches, but it's the only way I could get through it if I wrote it down. Chief Twist, upon first glance, you are a formidable and imposing character, a visual, in my opinion, befitting the uniform and position. However, like the saying goes about book covers, your story includes a kindness and compassion for the men and women of our department, your family, and this place we all love. I cherished all of our conversations, from the hall above Engine 4 to my kitchen and all the phone calls in between. In each of these conversations, I sense your late father's influence and can tell you that you make him very proud. Chief Twist, on behalf of the mayor and council, thank you for your service and congratulate you on a job well done. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilman. That was very befitting.
That's all.
Thank you, sir. Buildings, Grounds, and Public Utilities, Councilwoman Quattrone.
I have nothing to report. I just want to say, I want to echo what... Thank you. I want to echo what Councilman Coakley said about Tom Twist. I went to high school with him. I've known him for many decades, and he's done an incredible job. And we reunited when I returned to Rutherford 4 years ago. And I just think that it's a loss for the community that he won't be in that position anymore. But I think he's done incredible work, and the volunteers who work in the fire department are doing just the most difficult public service work I can imagine, with very little, with no remuneration, and just because out of the dedication that they feel, and that is just to be honored all the time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilwoman, and yes, I will agree with you that they are an incredible group. In fact, I believe we had 10 calls on Christmas Day, and they left their homes and their families to serve this community. Recreation, Councilman Roberson.
So I just want to announce my liaison assignments this year. Board of Ed, which I mentioned earlier, community events. I am co-liaising the historic preservation with my friend, Councilman Guzman. The Nereid, Nereid, I still can't, Nereid, Nereid Boat Club. And, they have such exciting plans this year, and they're actually having a holiday party on Saturday, and they're meeting with us this week. So they have a lot of exciting plans for the town. They want to get more integrated into our community, and we're very excited about that. And public information and the Rec Advisory Board. So I'm just very excited. It's a new year, and people are very passionate about all the things that can be done in 1 year. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. My reports, I have nothing to report. My liaison assignments, I have nothing to report. I'd like to appoint the 2023 professional services. I would do it in one motion. Borough Engineer, Negli Engineering. Grant Writer, Bruno Associates. Labor Counsel, Cleary, Jacoby, Alfieri, and Jacobs. Financial Advisor, NW Financial. Special Counsel, David Laporta of Laporta & Laporta. Prosecutor, Rosario Presti. Redevelopment Attorney, McManus, Scotland, and Bauman. Redevelopment Attorney, Secondary Redevelopment Attorney, Cleary, Jacoby, Alfieri, and Jacobs. Risk Manager, PIA Associates, or Professional Insurance Associates. Producer Consultant, PIA. Special Project Conflict Engineer, Collier Engineering and Design. Bond Counsel, Gibbons. Auditor, Lurch, Vinci, and Bliss. Tax Appraiser, McNerney and Associates. Architect, DMR Associates. I'm sorry, DMR Architects. Public Defender, which is Alfano, Anthony Alfano. Borough Planner, Negli Engineering. Affordable Housing Council, Bernstein Associates. Tax Appeal Attorney, Chasen, Lamparello, Mallon, and Capuzzo. I'd ask for council consent.
Motion.
Motion by Council President. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Roberson. Any questions or comments by the council? Seeing none, may I have a roll call?
Councilman Coakley,
Yes.
Councilwoman McGowan,
Yes.
Councilman Big Roberson,
Yes?
Councilman Guzman,
Yes.
Councilman Delroy Cohen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quattrone.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And next up, I have the Board of Adjustment. Phil Townsend, Rob Kenny, Connor Fox, Mary Fisher, Andrew Mikowski,
Devin Soriano, Oscar Rodriguez, Anthony Dovey at this time. I'd ask for council consent.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Coakley. May I have a second?
Second?
Second by Councilman Roberson. Any questions or comments by the council? Seeing none, I have one more position that I haven't got confirmation on yet, so I will hold that. Missy, could you please read the roll?
Councilman Coakley,
Yes.
Councilwoman McGowan,
Yes?
Councilman Big Roberson,
Yes?
Councilman Guzman,
Yes.
Councilman Delroy Cohen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quattrone.
Yes.
Thank you. The next up is the Planning Board. I will appoint myself with my alternate being James Rizzo, Paul Dansbeck, Stephanie McGowan as the council liaison, Adrian Trudell as alternate 1, Michael Calabrese, Anthony Nicodemo, Phil Pitchnick, Manny Evermedes as alternate 2, Rick Dorman, Cheryl Repetti, and Jeff Jordan. I'd ask for council consent.
Motion.
Motion by Council President. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Guzman. Any questions or comments by the council? Seeing none, may I have a roll call?
Councilman Coakley,
Yes.
Councilwoman McGowan,
Yes.
Councilman Big Roberson,
Yes?
Councilman Guzman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Delroy Cohen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quattrone.
Yes.
Thank you. Next up, I have Tony DeMalo, provisional appointment, Clerk 1, in accordance with the rules and regulations of the New Jersey Civil Service Commission, effective January 23rd, 2023. I'd ask for council consent.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Coakley. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Guzman. Any questions or comments by the council? Seeing none, may I have a roll call?
Councilman Coakley,
Yes.
Councilwoman McGowan, Councilwoman Big Roberson,
Yes.
Councilman Guzman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Delroy Cohen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quattrone.
Yes.
Thank you. Finally, I have Mary Ellen Satori, provisional appointment, Clerk 3, in accordance with the rules and regulations of the State of New Jersey Civil Service Commission, effective January 10th, 2023. I'd ask for council consent.
Motion.
Motion by Council President. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Guzman. Any questions or comments by the council? Seeing none, may I have a roll call?
Councilman Coakley,
Yes.
Councilwoman McGowan,
Yes.
Councilman Big Roberson, Councilman Guzman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Delroy Cohen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quattrone.
Yes.
Thank you. I will now entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion.
Motion by Council President. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Guzman. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.